Welcome to this halfway point of the Green Step Inquiry, Tales from the Land. I'm here with my lovely friend Hugh to bring you a card reading of the energy of this midway point of the ceremony, what's arising and what messages are we receiving from a psycho-spiritual perspective. I use a series of different decks and oracle cards to help divine for information and take a read on the energies that are coming through. This isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you're open to it, I certainly invite you to receive this message. So the first card I pulled was from a forest deck, and it's of a hall full of people dancing and singing and celebrating, and this beautiful, warm community atmosphere. And that's what we're creating in the ether, in the ether, even though we're all connecting on tech and from different places around Ireland, we are weaving this virtual community together. But the quest right now is, how do we make this manifest? How do we make this real? And as things are shifting with COVID regulations, we are creating more opportunities and possibilities to meet. There will certainly be some Green Step meetups over the summer out on the land within restrictions to really just honour everybody, but welcoming everybody to the table where we can share music and food. There's lovely dancing here as well in the card, and animals, plants, lovely nutritionally dense, locally sourced food gracing the table to celebrate together. So that feels like what we're striving towards. And with that came a card from the salmon deck, which was gifted to me at the start of this inquiry by Lisa Erickson. She's made a whole deck on the life cycle of the salmon, and it is absolutely beautiful. I will be going onto the Green Step community on Facebook to do some card readings for people over the next couple of weeks with that deck. So the one we got from this is home. And that's where we're going. We're finding our way home within ourselves, within our food system, within our relationship with land use in Ireland. We're finding our way to get back home and get away from the disconnect that has been caused. And what we've really heard in the episode is that it's been caused by capitalism and the unfounded principle of endless growth on a finite planet. And we're coming home and realizing actually we can reclaim our power from that system. And in tandem with that came a help a friend card. And it's about helping each other as friends and letting us build a community that we are building. It's already here, on good friendship and trust. And that means it is essential for us to have good consent and healthy boundaries and clear communication, and be able to have friendships where we can hold any disagreement that arises with deep respect, always striving to create understanding. And that's what we're seeing emerge in these podcast episodes. We're seeing people really trust each other. We're seeing friendships build. We're seeing people connect, and that's a really beautiful thing to see. So it is really this energy of friendship that we're working in. It's less of like colleagues or professionalism. It's friends. We're friends. We're a community of friends. All the beautiful artists who've contributed poems and songs and art to these episodes. Everyone who's been on for a conversation. Everyone who's written in. Everyone who's listened to this process. Every person is part of this group of growing friendship, and we're building a sturdy foundation. Now, we're in this point in the middle of this inquiry we're overcoming our challenges. That's the pinnacle of any ceremony, is the midpoint where something transforms and changes, and it's a challenge to move past. And right now we're really seeing how entrenched in this capitalist system we are, and how much we're all desiring food sovereignty, healthy soil, healthy communities with good food, good nutrition. And it's like we're jumping this hurdle of like, how do we get from where we are now in a national setting to where we wish to be? And the beauty of this is that, you know, this image on the 10 of Boons card of everyone sitting around the table, eating and sharing food, that already exists in homes, in communities. It's already there. It's just, how do we weave that together more and more and more in a national sense, that we have these unique gatherings of people all over the country, but that, you know, there's inter-community exchange again and again and again, and we're cross-pollinating each other with ideas, which is absolutely what this project has been, with people from many different activism groups and farming initiatives and different PhD researchers. Like, we're coming together to cross-pollinate, and in that process, we're weaving our community together. But it can sometimes feel like this really intense challenge. So part of that is also about acknowledging the challenge. That's really key. And so looking at, like, we know the fairies have been with us with this podcast. They've emerged in a couple of conversations. The sacred sites that have been gracing our social medias and our imagery going with the podcast has all come from a series of adventures to these sacred sites, and really connecting, for me anyway, connecting my heart to the fairies. And since I'm, you know, myself and John are the two people really bringing this to you, that energy is of course also with you. So one of the key challenges we're having at the moment is around, it's called Acorn's Invitation, touch, exchange and connection. And that's it. We're missing meeting each other one-on-one. I think we're all getting sick of Zoom. I certainly am. And I was always a real advocate for Zoom. And it's amazing that you really can connect so deeply heart to heart with people when you create a good agreement for how you're going to hold each other in a conversation. And yet we miss touching each other, like meeting Hugh and being able to sit next to him now and not just be talking on a screen is such a joy. My whole body feels just joyous and happy to be able to go and walk in the woods and not just be tethered to my device with headphones trying to get a good reception to speak with him. You know, I'm craving that fluidity of touch and exchange and connection. And I think we all are. And I think, you know, we are moving back to that collectively as a society. We're on the way to it. And more people who wish to be vaccinated have been vaccinated. There's more grounding. The summer and being able to be outside in the sunshine, you know, we are getting back there. But again, there's still that energy of challenge. Like, we're not there yet. We're kind of still in the in-between, in person, back online, in person, back online. People are getting frustrated. And certainly there's an element of that in this project, of just this frustration about wanting to meet people, which is why we've decided to just do one online live event, which is on June 4th. And then also we're going to have an in-person meeting with the people who've been part of the podcast. Now, my sincere wish is that everybody could come to that, but that's not the reality of the world right now. But certainly we feel that this has the potential to be an annual gathering that can gently grow if it feels right. There's no sense of us pushing or forcing that, but it does feel like that would be a nice thing to weave people together. I'm just drinking some cacao, which has been ethically sourced from Ecuador and a community of growers. So it goes straight from the farmer to me, and it's a delicious gift to receive. So enjoying that. The fairies are inviting us to follow them into this realm of the more than human, the realm beyond the tangible. We're going past materialism, and we need to go into the ether. We're traveling into the beyond, and that's the power of ceremony. That's the other side of this whole process. You know, you can tangibly see and hear and feel and know the conversations with people, the podcasts, the Instagram posts, the live event, the people. But beyond all of that are these rich ideas and visions and hopes and inspirations. And because this project is being done in a ceremonial way, we're weaving all of those together. We're bringing in these threads and these channels of trust, the way the salmon can travel these channels of trust back from where they've been born to where they feed and all the way back to where they're born. We're kind of creating those networks and those channels by weaving all of our ideas together, and just letting them meet more. You know, a lot of these ideas have already been meeting in other realms with other people, and we're just meeting them more and bringing more intimacy to them, bringing more tangibility to them. And that is a gift. And that is our invitation. With Barnabas and the Prince, it's like this fairy man on top of a toad. Adventure, discovery, travel, and meeting destiny. And there's this sense with this invitation of the fairies, like follow me, it says, that we kind of have to let go into trust, into not knowing where we're going to end up, into not knowing how it's going to manifest. But with strong friendship bonds, with a rooting in grounding, and knowing that we're traveling our way home to that warm table to sit around the fire and share music and song with people we love. We know that that's the end point. That's what we're striving for. And in between that, we need to kind of take a plunge into the unknown, into destiny, into adventure, and take the quest of the hero's journey into the underworld and see where we will emerge on the other side. And that's what this process is. This is the adventure, and it's continuing. And as we're in this process, I asked for some archetypes. What archetypes are we working with? What's important right now? So there's a real sense of inner child healing. We've talked a lot about ancestral healing as well, and getting back to our own inner child, the innocence, purity, and redemption that suggests a special connection to the divine, letting ourselves be pure, innocent children of a gentle and benevolent universe. Even if that sounds so hard to believe, letting it be true by believing it's true. The more we believe that, and the more we feel that we're being supported by Mother Earth and Father Sky and each other, the more we can let this beautiful, innocent, childlike nature flow from us. And we do need to be mindful. We do need to be wary of the system. It's not to say be super innocent all the time, but to have that in the right place at the right time, in that safe space, in that conversation, in that friendship. That's okay. But beyond that, we do need to be wary that there's this energy of the thief. You know, there's people, not people, but I suppose systems and people who want to put a monetary value on everything, even that childlike innocence and purity within us, that love and passion. And actually what we're creating here is beyond that. We're seeing the reality that capitalism is just a story, that money is just a story. And if we stop agreeing with everybody that that €1 note has this value, or €1 coin has however much value, we stop feeding that story and we create our own stories. And that can seem maybe for now a little bit imaginal. I can still feel that energy of the challenge coming in. Is that even possible? Is it even real? Like, who knows? But the more we choose to disentangle from that story and let it stop robbing us of our energy, the less energy it will have, because it's built on the energy of people and beings and resources and earth. And all of us, beings, earth, animals, plants, we can all survive without capitalism. We need food, we need shelter, and we need to remember that money isn't a need. It's a strategy to meet needs. And I'm kind of laughing here now because Hugh's been with me for the last day and he's heard me say that now, I'd say about 50 times. So yeah, there's that energy of being wary of the thief. We be in our innocence in safe spaces that we co-create. And outside of that, we need to be careful. Otherwise, we'll just end up martyring ourselves and be addicted to self-pity and, oh, poor us, we're being abused by this system and it's really bad. And that's true. I'm not denying that. But when we can be in this childlike energy, be with friends, know this beautiful vision that we're striving for, which is emerging from every conversation we have, we can learn to transcend the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And we strive to be of service to this cause, not be a victim of the reason why we need to be behind the cause, if that makes sense. We choose to be the martyr for this post-capitalist reality we wish. And a martyr in a sense, not like we don't forego self-care. Like, you fill your cup first. That's key. You fill your cup first and then you work from there. You put your mask on first in the airplane and then you go from there. Because if you're not well stocked, you can't help anybody else. So that's a dangerous lie or it's a dangerous energy in the energy of the martyr. And we need to remember to be minding ourselves and yet still be of service to this cause which we love. And the more we surrender to that, the more we offer ourselves in service, the more we let go into this adventure, into the unknown, the more we're able to come home to ourselves, to come home to each other, and to come home to this table that we wish to sit around, to share good food, to support food sovereignty and our creativity. And that's where the artist comes in, the beautiful energy of expressing the dimension of life that exists beyond the five senses. Again, that's what ceremony does. That's what I'm tapping into with this card reading. And we can inspire others to see life symbolically with our poems, with our prayers, with our dances, with our songs. That's what all of the beautiful contributors in the episodes have been doing with their poems and their insights, and all of the people who've shared and talked and told their stories. We're using story, we're using ceremony as methods of art, of creativity, of creation. And together we are co-creating to overcome this challenge in the center, this challenge that blocks our heart from loving infinitely. Which again can seem like a tall order, but the more we're in community together, the more that's doable. So we let our art be a prayer. We let our creations, whether that's growing delicious food or having a community meeting about policy or painting a picture or loving one another, we let our art be our activism. It is our activism. And then overseeing all of this, I asked for a card from the Divine Feminine deck, which is a series of women from throughout history, real women, who have been channels of the divine. And just pausing for some more cacao. And some sacred, blessed water. And yeah, we got Thekla, I think is how we're going to pronounce her name, even though that might be wrong. The prophetess of true power. And the affirmation on this card says, I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. Together we are calling our power back from all times and all places. We are our own, and we are worthy of this beautiful vision of a connected, healthy future. A restorative and regenerative future, not just sustaining the old way, but regenerating to create more health, more wellness, more well-being, more connection. We absolutely deserve that. And as we come together in community to support one another, we tap into that power. We are calling back that power. Thekla felt a call to serve in the name of Christ, but because she was a woman, she was told not to. She was forced to be married and was brought out to the street by her would-be husband, where she took off his crown and his cloak and shamed him for trying to take her without her consent. And then she was sentenced to death by wild beasts. And yet, when she came in contact with the lioness actually licked her feet. And when she went to be thrown into the pool with the sea lions, she proclaimed herself to be baptized. And actually, even facing all of that, ended up living until she was 90 and is just proof that no matter what challenge is in your way, whether it's a lion or a pool of sea lions, you can overcome it. We can overcome it, even if it's a sadistic capitalist system. We can overcome it together, and we can reclaim our power because we have the power within us. And that's the message of this reading, and that's the message of this card. All of these cards. So, my sweet friend, I hope these messages have landed well with you. Thank you for being part of this journey. I'd love to hear how it's landing with you and how you feel about it. And looking forward to connecting with you more in the future. Our live event is on June 4th from 7 till 9. It's free, and the more people the merrier, so please do come and attend our virtual campfire and let us hear your beautiful thoughts. Gur míle buchas leis agus slán go fóill.